Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Welcome back. So today I'm going to be showing you how you can make poutine, and this is a perfect dish for a Ramadan iftar as well. So let's get straight into it. The things you will need will be 3 cups of water, 3 tablespoons of butter, 2 cups of cheese or 2 cups of cheese curds. And since I'm making this for a family of 5, I'm going to be using 5 like somewhat large potatoes. Remember to wash the potatoes before you use them as well. I'm going to be using some green onions, and I'm going to be using a cube to make some chicken stock or chicken broth.
Okay, so an important side note, you are also going to need 2 tablespoons of gram flour, which is also called chickpea flour, and you are going to need 2 extra tablespoons of all-purpose flour.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with the potatoes. So let's put all of our other stuff to a side. Perfect! So first things first, we're going to be taking a knife. I prefer a knife that's kind of like the regular sized, but you can use a small one as well. And what we're going to do, we're going to peel the potatoes' skin. The potatoes are now fully peeled. So we are done with the first step. Now let's move on to the next step. And also it got a little wet here. On to the next step. Oh, that was a bad snap. There we go. That was a better snap. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to cut our cheese into cubes. If you already have cheese curds at home, then perfect. If you don't have cheese curds at home, then we're going to dice some cheese. So we're going to take our knife, and we're going to kind of cut it from there just a little bit. So I'll clear this area up, show you what I mean. So if you can see, there's just a little bit left, and I'm going to cut it like that, and I'm going to just keep cutting it. Okay, so we're done cutting the cheese into those rectangle thingies. And if you have cheese, some weird chunks of cheese, you can use these too. It doesn't really matter that much. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start to cut these into small, tiny cubes. So as you can see, it's not really a perfect cube, but it's near to a cube. So you're going to cut your rectangles into small cubes. Alright, I am done cutting the cheese into small cubes. You can see that these look like cubes. And now let's move on to the next step. Whoa! Okay, let's move on to the next step.
Alrighty, so now for this step you're going to need your 3 cups of water and a saucepan. So first things first, what you're going to do is you're going to take your 3 cups of water and you're going to pour it into a saucepan. after you've done that, you're going to turn your stove on like medium heat, and you're just gonna wait for the water to boil. Okay, so now I have washed my green onions, and while our water is boiling, we're going to start cutting up our green onions from the top. So we're going to slowly go down until we reach the bottom. Alright, so now I am nearly done cutting the green onions, and now our water has stopped boiling. So now we can move on to the next step. Alright, so now in this next step, now that our water is near to boiling, we are going to take our chicken broth cube. We're going to open it up, and then we are going to put the broth cube inside of the boiling water. So as you can see, I'm just opening my cube, and we are going to put this inside of the water carefully, and put the cube on a spoon, and then put the cube in, and then start to mix all of that until it looks like it's completely combined. Okay, so once you have finished making the broth, it should look a bit yellow. So after that, what you're going to do, you're going to take the broth you have made, and you are going to pour in 3 cups of it into your container. There we go, nice and easy.
So, poutine has gravy on top of it. It's not just fries with cheese and green onions. It has gravy on top of it to enhance the flavor. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to make our gravy. And to make the gravy, you're going to need your
Tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour.
And your chicken broth. It's a bit hot right now, that's why it's a bit hard to hold. Here it is. So, what you're going to do is you're going to take a whisk and a saucepan, and you're going to put in the butter. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put, not that one, you're going to put it on, you're going to heat this on like medium-high heat. So you're just going, you want the butter to melt. Geese. Alright, alright, so the butter has melted, and now after the butter has completely melted, we're going to put in our
2 tablespoons
of flour, all-purpose flour straight away, and we're going to start mixing rapidly. So you want to keep mixing this until it starts to foam a little. You should start to smell the butter and the flour, and once you are able to smell it, that is your sign to put in your 3 cups of chicken broth. So over here you have to be a bit careful. And now what you're gonna do, you're gonna start to stir. So what you're gonna do, you're going to let this simmer, and you're gonna occasionally stir it, and you're gonna keep it like this for 10 to 15 minutes. So you're gonna be here stirring for 10 to 15 minutes. An important note, you're going to be stirring this until it starts to thicken, and that takes about 10 to 15 minutes. That's why you're staying here for 10 to 15 minutes.
So I'm nearly done stirring, so we're going to move on to the next step. Alright, so now we're adding some oil to a pan that we're going to make our fries in. And here's a little thing of the poutine sauce. It should be like sort of thick. So now we're taking the potatoes and we're putting them in a French fry cutter so we can cut them into French fries. And this is what they look like after we cut them into French fries, also before we fried them. So now we are putting some all-purpose flour and just to like enhance the flavor, and we're also putting some basin flour, which is also sometimes called gram flour, and then we're going to put some pepper in the French fries. So now we just have to mix all of this up because we don't want everything to just sit at the top, and after that we're going to put them into the oil and they're going to start frying. So this is what they look like as they're frying. They look really good. They look really tasty. And now after the French fries have fried themselves, then we are going to take them out and we're going to put them in a separate plate for now. There they go, into the plate. And we're just gonna cover them with that. So now we're putting in the French fries, and then we're going to put the cheese curds on top of the French fries, and the French fries should be hot. And now we're putting a second batch of French fries on top of the other French fries and cheese curds so that the cheese melts easily, and then we'll put the last of our cheese at the top. And now we are putting in our poutine gravy or poutine sauce, and then for our final touch, for some garnishing, we are putting our chopped green onions. So this is what it looks like in the end. It looks real good. It's super tasty.
I'm fine.
It's good.